Welcome back. This is Nikki Clarke of the Nikki Clarke Show, and I am super excited to be here and to share some great news with you. News from people who are movers and shakers in the community and are doing really positive things to impact upon people's lives in a major way. And I'm so grateful to have the owner of several franchises of a company called Laserquit with us today. Her name is Meridee Hlokoff. Please welcome her to the show. How are you doing today, Meridee?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And thank you so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy.
I am.
But I'm just so fascinated and would love for people to know what you do because this is so important. I'm not a smoker, but my grandmother was a chain smoker. My grandfather was a chain smoker. All my uncles on my mom's side are chain smokers, and it's just like something that I've seen, and I just, you know, I try to appeal to them and tell them, it's not okay. There's another way, but I didn't have the tools. But you have this incredible story about your own personal journey and how you've been able to change people's lives and help them to quit that habit. So can we hear the story behind Laserquit? How did it start?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So I was a smoker like so many other people, and I had a random laser treatment and I magically quit for 5 years. It was this amazing experience. And when about 5 years afterwards, I was having a barbecue in my backyard and all of the people in my backyard were smoking. And so I just grabbed a cigarette and I took a puff of it and it burnt my mouth and it hurt my throat. And I gave it back and I was like, this is gross. And the next day I had the raging psycho coming out. And so I knew I had done something. And one puff is all it takes for us to get started again. So the next day I started just having a few puffs here and there. And, I did it for about 3 weeks, but I knew I was going to go down and try it again. And so I got down there and I tried it again. And I came home and I struggled so hard. The first time I basically forgot that I ever smoked.
Right.
And when I came home the second time, I just struggled and struggled. And the one thing I noticed was that even when I did go smoke, it wasn't fulfilling the need that I had before. And so I felt unfulfilled going out for the cigarette. So I started to notice that there was something that must be working with this treatment. And I really started to pay attention. Okay, I'm not craving this cigarette. My habits are telling me that I need to. Over time, and at that time, actually, I had committed to doing this because my 5-year experience had been so incredible. And so I had committed to buying some training and lasers and getting started on my own. And when I brought it home, I was getting, average 85% success rates, which was fantastic. But I'm an overachiever. So 85% success is good, but I wanted better. So I really started to study various personality patterns and addictions and how the brain works and all these other things, as well as I changed the sequencing, the timing, and all the things in our treatments. And I now have, at 1 year for my smokers, 95% success rates. Our heavy addictions, which include cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, even detoxing off of the methadone that they take, we have 99% success rates.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It really is. And so that's kind of my story of how I ended up where I am now, is just developing it over time. And now I've been in business for 10 years. And our successes have been maintained, and I have found that it is easy to replicate my success.
Fantastic. And that means that you've got multiple locations. Can we talk about where you have now? And I think they're growing.
Yes, we're in the process of opening a few more. I'm not going to name them yet, but be prepared. We're in the process of really moving and shaking and growing. So currently we have a Nanaimo location, which is a privately owned franchise. And then we have a location in Abbotsford. We have a location in Kamloops. We have a location in Fort St. John, in Kelowna, and in Quesnel currently. But there are multiple more on the way. And in the process of being opened. And by January, we should be covering most of BC.
That's fantastic. Wow. So I know you can't disclose all the locations, but I hope can I put in an order for Ontario? Because I know there's a number of my friends who would really, really benefit from this service.
There's so many people that can benefit from this service. It's absolutely amazing. We don't just stay focused on the one treatment, but I'm sure we'll get into that. We aren't in Ontario yet, but I will tell you that that might be something that is coming down the pipeline in not too far of a future.
Okay.
So keep your fingers crossed, because I would love to see it come across Canada faster than just on my side.
Yes. Yeah. You know, you mentioned we had a conversation earlier, and you mentioned that you're a single mom and you got 2 children, right?
I do.
Yes. Can you tell us, how do you do the balancing act of a successful entrepreneur and a mom?
So that's the thing about Laserquit. It's this amazing job that each location runs itself with one person. I have been able to, since Laserquit came into my life, I've been able to take my kids on trips. So we didn't even do Christmas presents anymore. We would do small things, but then we would take these amazing trips, and my kids would remember, still to this day, it's things we talk about. Whereas I remember asking them, do you remember what I got you for Christmas a year ago? And them saying, no, I don't think I do. And I was, this is terrible. And so we started, because of Laserquit coming into my life, to run a full-time Laserquit, it shouldn't take you more than 30 hours in a week. And so it makes it very manageable. And even that 30 hours includes all of the work that you need to do, including all your admin stuff, everything. And so I am able to take the time to spend with my kids, not just on these vacations, but I get off work at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon most days. And then I get my whole afternoon to spend with my kids. And I mean, my kids are 18 and 19, so they're not always wanting to spend all their time with their mom anymore. But now my daughter has joined me in this. And I always told her it was an option, but it wasn't something I expected from her. I didn't create Laserquit to pass on to my family. I created it because I found this incredible passion that just, it blows me away when I have experiences with these people and their experiences. And so now my daughter is getting to experience that, and it feels amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, and are your children thinking of going into business like yourself? Like, you know, you're such a strong role model. Do they share what they want to do in the future, or working
They
towards that?
they do. My son has some pretty lofty goals. When we sat down and talked, I told him, you know, my plan is that I'm going to help so many people that I'm going to be a millionaire. And it's not going to be, you know, this rich, snobby millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire because of how many people I've impacted.
Yeah.
And my, like, I like that. And so I said, when I'm a millionaire, I want to be able to invest in my children, because I know both of them have told me in the long term, they didn't want to work for someone else. And so I asked my son what he wanted to do. And he said, actually, he wants to one day maybe own like a mechanic shop that services vehicles and stuff like that, but has a specialty side that does, I don't even know what they are, but those, you know, fancy cars like in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I don't know anything about it, but what I know is that when he told me that, I said, I would love to be able to I want to get to the place where I'm helping so many people. I have enough money to give you a loan of $100,000 to get you started.
Yeah.
And because if we don't have a loan and we just give them the money, they're going to waste it and they're going to ruin it. So I want to give them a loan that has a reward when they pay it back in full.
Absolutely. Oh, that is such it's a wonderful value to have, you know, and to teach children. Yes, we're in a different time now. I mean, I'm an educator. I work with youth, and I'm seeing a little bit of a change in terms of how they understand work and the value of work. And there's a slight entitlement that's seeped into the youth.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to call it out.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
you know, we were doing things, you know, it was like work hard, play hard, you know, just put in your best. It's good to still teach that, you know?
And that's the thing. I wasn't handed anything with this. Like, I started out, I still own the bookkeeping company that I ran when I first started this Laserquit anyways, because Laserquit was just a side job for me. It wasn't intended for a full-time thing. I just was a walking billboard for this lady. And I thought, well, maybe I can make some money off of it. But then it turned into something so much more for me. And now I have so much appreciation for it. And it just shows me where we can head, because if all of these people are helped, then they want to help more people, and they're going to spread that word to other people. wait to be the thing that everyone's talking about because of how life-changing these treatments are.
They are. And it's not just, as you said, focusing on smoking. I mean, it really targets different parts of addictions and disorders and, fixations.
It does. As well, we dig in with some coaching as well. So that's another thing that sets us apart, is that we're not just going to try and fix and put a Band-Aid over top of the problem. We're going to give you a treatment that fixes that, provides some clarity in your mind so that you can dig into the stuff that's actually causing it. Because until you figure out what the driver is for that behavior, you can't change the behavior. How many times have we said, how many times have smokers said, okay, I'm going to quit smoking? And if we could get through the craving part, I could have done it. But really what it is we're self-sabotaging because we can't commit to it to ourselves.
Right. So that's a really key point that you brought up, that we have to attack the root of the problem. Otherwise, if you're not cognizant of what the cause is, I mean, the behavior,
it'll keep coming up and knocking you off your horse. Every time you make a plan, it's going to change, because the reason you're doing it needs to be uncovered. And so we dig into some of that stuff, and sometimes no, it's not fun, and other times people don't need to really dig that far to find out what it is, and it's easy to fix. But having support along the way, every addict needs that, whether we're smokers or whether we're addicted to something else. Whether it's you're addicted to your phone, like we have dealt with some incredibly strange things. I want to tell you a story if I can.
Sure, yeah, love to hear it.
I had this lady come to visit us, and we had her come in for a consultation. Oftentimes we can get enough information on the phone so that when they come in, we can do a full consultation before treatment. But this lady said, I really need to talk to you. I have multiple issues. So her husband and her came in, and they sat down and we started talking about the treatments. And she said, okay, so I can't remember what it's called. It's trickle something, where she pulls her hair when she's stressed out. So she pulls it out and I was like, okay, well, I have seen where we have treated strange addictions, which is what I would consider this. It's not an addiction, but it is a habit, and a response to stress. So I said, I have seen vast improvement in this. So I do think we could treat it, but I don't want to make you any promises. And she said, okay. She said, I have severe anxiety. I have severe depression. And I have PTSD. And I was like, okay. And I can treat all of those. She said, okay. I also what's the vape? And I said, okay, I can definitely treat that. And then she said, okay. And I also have, now I got the name of it, Petite seizures. And so what they are is they're mini seizures in her brain, and they don't knock her on the ground to take her out. They just like freeze her, and she can't communicate for about 30 seconds. And so she was having about 50 of these per day. And she was miserable. And I said, I honestly can't tell you if I can treat this or not. I don't know, because it's not that I've had people walk in and be like, I have seizures, let's fix it. And she said, okay, well, none of the medications my doctor has given me is working. So I'd really appreciate it if you'd be willing to try. And so her husband and I had a full-on conversation about like, if there's any potential side effects, what he needs to do, and how to explain to the doctor what we did. And because we work directly with the endorphins in your brain. And so we treated this lady, and she currently has almost a mullet, because her hair is about as long as mine, all around her whole head. She has this really interesting look in her hair. She hasn't smoked a cigarette in 20 weeks. She said that her anxiety is at an absolute minimum, and she has not had a seizure in 20 weeks.
So,
okay.
How has your life been transformed?
Not only do I no longer work 8 to 10 hours a day, I work more like 4 to 6 at the most. And I get a lot more time with my family, and I get to enjoy doing things. I get to go to the gym. I get to cook dinner, and I don't have that pressure of the panic of every day getting myself, through all these motions. I found balance in my life. I have freedom when it comes to the financial side of my life as well, because when something works, it's talked about a lot. And when something works, people are willing to do what it takes to change. And the coolest part about what I do is that, yes, you pay me once, but then you are going to pay yourself back the same amount every month after that because you aren't smoking. So the investment into me isn't into me, it's into themselves. And so I feel like just the way that my job has become so rewarding, it's not like work anymore.
It's not like work anymore. It's joy watching people's lives just change. And how does it affect like the people working with you? How have their lives changed?
Oh, it's my favorite. I just actually got an invoice from one of my girls and they sent it to me via email, and I got the email, and on the bottom of the email, it says, "I love my job." She said, "Everyone around town is talking about me. When I see people, they already know who I am. I have no idea who they are. And they're talking about how I'm the Laserquit girl." And my other ones in Quesnel had messaged me and said, "Do you know that I was able to help 10 people this month?" And I was like, "That's fantastic." And she said, "Because we've just opened that location." And she goes, "Do you know it's 10 people this month? And it's also my 10 month." And I was like, "That's fantastic." Because her 10 month is her also quitting smoking. And that's how come what our deal was. She came and saw me at one of my locations. And then when it worked for her, she was like, "I want to do this." And it worked perfectly for me to open another location with her.
Amazing. I love to hear that. I love how, you empower so many people, clients, the people who work with you. I mean, you're really building a community, which is really amazing. So that's an incredible mission you have.
Thank you. And I plan to do a lot more. My daughter was a preemie when she was born, and it had a lot of struggles with it. And so I have this idea in my head that when I get to where I'm going, I either want to donate large sums of money, or I want to build some kind of addition to a children's hospital, because of how hard it impacted me to have my daughter in the NICU and to go through that experience. And it's awful for parents. So I want to be able to help in some way, whether it's with financing or whether it's a home or something children need that they don't currently have. So I have some big goals and some long distances to travel, but I'm really excited about where we're going because I know I'm not in this on my own.
No, it's definitely, it takes a village, right? So you've got
It really
an incredible community around you, for sure. So Meridee, it's just been, a pleasure listening to your incredible journey. Where can people meet you on social media?
Okay, so they can find us at Laserquit Therapies Corp, both on Facebook and on Instagram. I think we're on Twitter, but I'm not tech savvy, so I don't know that we even post on it. I'm not that awesome at it. And we have a website right behind her head is laserquittherapy.ca.
There it is.
There it is.
Awesome. It's been just fantastic. And I'm really, really inspired by your story. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. And
thank you.
The invitation for you to come to Toronto is open whenever you want to come down, and maybe you'll see me in BC. Who knows?
That would be fantastic. Let's keep in touch.
For sure. Thank you. Meridee Hlokoff, owner of Laserquit. Please reach out to her on social media. Bye for now.
The Nikki Clarke Show, transforming lives one story at a time. If you would like to be a guest or become a part of our live studio audience, or even to become a sponsor, just go to www.NikkiClarkeNetwork.com.